Yeah, after a short adjournment, the Commission of Inquiry will now resume. And Council, if you would continue.
Thank you, Chairman. Now, Ms. Franco, when we took the short break, you had shared with us the original deeds, and based on your evidence, it represents area in Boss's Cove, and it is represented as you had shown us earlier in lots 7, 9, 11, and 18. That's correct?
Yes, Council.
And that is Exhibit VF6. Now, you indicated earlier that you have 2 original deeds. The second one, I'd like to take you to that second original deed in your possession. Can you just share with us before we go any further what area it relates to?
Council, this relates to page 19, number 11, 1/4 of an acre of land in
Not so fast. Don't speak so fast. Just a minute. Page 19, yes.
number 11.
Just a minute. Number 11, page 19, and this relates to
11.
Where is this?
This is in the same area of, this is Tula Lane, Spanish Point Road, Tula Lane area on the far right.
Yes. And that's the area you indicated that your research that you have not yet completed will inform you as to where the boundary line is.
That's correct, Council.
The area as it is now that you're referring to, can you say from the what is displayed on the screen? Craven. Can you say from what's on the screen, what, if anything, is situated in that area at this time? Is it?
It is residential.
Thank you. And is this area, based on your estimation, what type of residential area is it?
It is a...
And I mean, is it prime residential? Is it something else?
It is prime residential area with waterfront property, waterfront rights.
Thank you.
Just for clarification, what acreage were you suggesting it might be?
It, based on the deed that I have here, it says
Oh, yeah.
1/4 of an acre of land.
1/4 of an acre. Thank you very much. It was written here. I didn't notice it at first.
Now I'm going to ask you to the original deed. I'd like to go to that document. The original deed, what does it state on the cover? Please speak slowly for me.
Dated the 23rd of November, 1877.
Craven Rogers.
Peter Kepper.
Just a minute. I'm just trying to, so that persons may follow who are watching, I'm just asking that the picture could be magnified somewhat. I think that would be assist persons viewing. You may continue, madam.
Dated the 23rd of November, 1877, Peter Capper, C-A-P-P-E-R, spelt, and Mary Jane, his wife, to Thomas.
Just a minute. Watch his hand, please. Yes, you may continue.
And Mary Jane, his wife, to Thomas Miles.
And the names there, do you recognize any of them by way of relation?
No, Counsel.
What about the person conveying?
No, Counsel.
But how did you then come in possession of the deed to claim it then?
This deed belonged to Miss Charlotte Phillip Oates.
Okay, that's the thing. Now the copy of that deed, do you have a copy there?
Yes, Counsel.
And you wish to rely on that original deed,
Yes,
claiming by way of your submission to the Commission of Inquiry that area delineated in red, but the other boundary which you are
16
yet to determine belongs to your family.
Yes, Counsel.
This is the actual date.
16 February.
This is the actual date of the document.
Oh, document is actually
Right.
18 November, 23rd November, 1877.
Right. And this is the recording of the book of deeds.
1877. Recorded. Recorded 16th February, 1934.
Suppose this is one of those times, Chairman of Commissioners, if you break it, you have bought it. I was referring to the deed.
Oh,
I know.
Okay, so write it up.
It has been dried out. If you care to.
It's on.
Okay.
Chairman, my application is that the copy of the original deed, which has been certified as a true copy, deed dated
23rd of November, 1877.
thank you, 23rd of November 1887.
77.
77.
I crave a note. Dated the 23rd of November 1877 from Peter Capper and Mary Jane, his wife, to Thomas Miles. I'd ask that it be tendered and admitted as exhibit VF7.
As council, as you recorded and repeated, that exhibit will be labeled VF7.
Thank you. Ms. Franco, I'm going to ask you, in my mind, a very hard question, but a necessary question. Earlier, you gave evidence and spoke of the main purpose for the claim being made. However, based on your presentation so far, you have indicated in relation to both Bosses Cove and the Tudor Lane area, that's a residential area where persons presently reside. What is the family's position with regard to the claim for ownership of land that persons presently reside on? I'm not speaking about a legal position, but what is your wish in terms of the claim that you make?
Hugh, do you want to answer that?
Pardon me? Okay. Oh, your brother, Mr. Hollis. I'm sorry. Yes.
Yes, based on council, this is Hugh Hollis speaking.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, based on your question, and from what I understand, you're trying to get sort of an idea of the family's position on these properties and what's the ultimate goal and outcome. Is that correct?
Correct. Thank you.
Based on that, I think it's always been a goal of our ancestors to have a claim, a rightful claim to these properties. I think we wanted to be officially stated that these properties we have some claim to these properties. We're not necessarily looking to, gotta be careful here, because I need to speak for the entire family. We understand that this many years has passed, and there's many people have some sort of relationship to these properties currently and in the past. So we would like to the record state that our family had legal ownership on behalf of our ancestors and state some claim to these properties.
Thank you. I think your answer is such that your sister will speak to you later. It was a very carefully worded answer.
Yes.
Now, Ms. Franco, you did indicate also that there is a third deed which you need to piece together, my words. And before I go to that document and how we treat with it, what area, well, oh, you have it here. What area does this deed refer to? Are you able to demonstrate by way of your presentation to indicate the area it refers to, meaning lot area, where it is, the geographic location?
Council, at this point in present time, I am not able to clarify the actual area of this deed, but it is part of the estate of Anna Millier Wood.
And the estate of Anna Wood, importantly, it is Boss's Cove and Tula Lane are part of that Wood estate, correct?
That's correct, Council.
Thank you. The map that has not completely withstood the test of time, is there any part of it which is discernible? Is there any part of it in terms of a date or area on the map?
I'm sorry, I'm not understanding your question, Council.
The map that is in, that you would need to piece together,
Oh, yes.
is there any part of it which you're able to discern?
Not at this point in time, Council.
Right. Well, we'll move on then. Now, you had indicated earlier, and by way of reference to Exhibit VF, the PowerPoint presentation, I'd like to take you to that document. Now that picture that is displayed on the page, does that bear any reference to the presentation you're making?
Yes, Council. This is the presentation that I prepared.
And that photograph which is embedded, does that bear any reference to your presentation, the actual photograph?
Yes, Council, this photograph is a picture of Bosses Cove from the water side, and the building in yellow is number 11, Bosses Cove.
I'm going to have us magnify the picture. And when was this photograph taken, can you say? On or about?
I'm going to say it was taken around about 1976 or something there. Close
This
to.
is probably in the late 1960s.
Say again?
As Mr. Hollis, in late 1960s.
Yes.
Thank you.
That is correct, Council, because there's actually a boat at the property of the blue house that my father was building and was named after my sister. So that's about correct.
And you're able to see that, or it follows in the presentation?
It is, no, Council, it is that brown image between the, right
Do you
there.
see where the cursor is?
Yes.
Yes, that brown
Yes, that's it right
to
there.
there are two blue buildings.
Yes,
The one that's closer to the sea,
yes,
there's something that appears brown.
yes. So that is actually the structure of the boat that my father was building.
And your father was building that, you say?
And he named it after my sister.
Yes, please don't tell her age, but get the point. You may proceed.
Thank you.
Now, what does that picture represent?
This picture represents the Woods family homestead, which is currently stands at the junction of St. John's Road and North Shore Road, Pembroke. So this is where it all began.
Yeah.
And who resides there now, can you say?
I don't know, Council.
Is this part of your claim?
No, Council. It's just a reference to where our family started when they came to Bermuda.
Okay. Thank you. You may continue.
Do you want me to read this?
Well, you may start by reading it, and then I will take you through. We won't go through all of it. We'll just try to highlight some salient points.
Thank you, Council. It all began when Samuel Wood married Susanna. Samuel Wood was my 5 great-grandfather. He was born in 1756, died 30th December 1833. He married Susanna, born about 1757. She died December 21, 1812. Samuel Wood had 2 children, Eleanor Wood for his wife, Susanna, and Joseph Julius Buller wife for a female Wood for a female slave. Eleanor was the half sister to Joseph Julius Buller Wood. Samuel Wood was wealthy and owned the schooner Little Eleanor. On March 11, 1826, he launched a 150-ton schooner, Lady Barnaby, near Hamilton. Samuel Wood was a slave owner, landowner, pioneer, privateer, shipbuilder, and earned much of his wealth in merchandising. Eleanor Wood, first child, Eleanor Wood, born October 29, 1774. Died January 1st, 1862, lived in Long House, Hamilton, Pembroke. She married Joseph Wood in 1795, and he was born January 9, 1757 in Bermuda, and died March 22, 1815. He was the son of Stowe and Frances Wood. So at this point, a Wood married a Wood. No relation to her father, Samuel Wood. Joseph Wood was a merchant, lived at Longwood, Pembroke, which is now where Axel Capital was built and the old landmark of the Bermuda Hotel. Yes. He owned, with his brothers Stowe and Richard Wood, the sloop, the Experiment. Joseph Wood was also the master of the sloop Friendship in 1796 and master of the sloop Sally. They were one of the wealthiest families living in Bermuda at the time. We are able to trace our ancestries back to the 18th century, and for this purpose of this commission, it starts with Samuel Wood married Susanna Wood. Samuel Wood had 2 children. The first one I mentioned was Eleanor, and she had a daughter named Susanna Wood, born October 22, 1803 in Bermuda. She died January 29, 1873. Susanna married June 26, 1830 to Robert Kennedy, the colonial secretary to the Bermuda government. He was a middle-aged man and had no children. After the death of Joseph Wood, Eleanor Wood married second Sir William Chris Head Barnaby on May 2nd, 1816. They lived at Longwood House, Pembroke. He became Lord Barnaby and Eleanor became Lady Barnaby. Lord William Barnaby was a proprietor of slaves. In the 1821 registry shows that he owned 14 slaves. Samuel Wood had another child who was one of his house servants, Hannah Dunscan. His name was Julius Buller Wood, born 1788 and died between 1835 and 1870 in Bermuda. Julius Buller Wood's mother was a slave, and he was the only son of Samuel Wood. Julius Buller was emancipated on the 25th of February, 1827, 9 years before the general emancipation of slaves in Bermuda. He was free to roam Bermuda with no restrictions. He had a boat registered to him and kept it at Pitts Bay. He was also a skilled fisherman. Julius Buller Wood married Hannah Dunscan. Her mother was Ruth Dunscan. Hannah and Ruth worked for Julius' half-sister Eleanor Wood and her first husband, Joseph Wood, at Longwood. Longhouse. Hannah Wood died March 6, 1870 at the age of 81. She was buried in Pembroke Cemetery. When Joseph Wood died and Eleanor married Lord Barnaby, Hannah and Ruth were also the house servants to Lord and Lady Barnaby. Julius Buller Wood and Hannah Wood had 3 children, Eliza, Elizabeth, and Richard. First child, Eliza Wood, born May 4, 1834 in Pembroke, baptized October 19, 1834, Pembroke. This is all the information I could find on her.
I just pause there. This information, where did you obtain it?
I obtained it from family research that my grandmother had done from all the paper that she had left behind.
Okay.
Also consultation with my aunt and other family members.
Your brother?
Yes.
And Council, a lot of this is available on Ancestry.com. There's a lot of that documented on the internet nowadays.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Also,
Hollis.
Councillor,
Sorry, just
Lynn.
state your name first.
Cecilia Lynn Can,
Yes.
Hollis Can. And I'd just like to add to that we have ancestry that left, left Bermuda
Yes.
during that time. And so we have family in the USA who are researching their roots as well. And so a lot of this information we've got over the years by bonding, and they've visited Bermuda as well. So
Thank you very much. Now, at slides 8 and 9, you have documented that Elizabeth and Alfred how do you pronounce that surname?
Ketchum,
Ketchum had 11 children.
yes.
You have stated the date of birth and date of death of them. Is there anything you wish to highlight on this page, or can I just move on to another one?
You can move on, Council.
Okay. Then at page 10, you have stated, the presentation illustrates that Buller Wood and Hannah Wood had 3 children. You named the children Eliza, Elizabeth, and Richard. And importantly, not all of the children remained here in Bermuda, as was just stated by Mrs. Khan. That's correct?
That's correct, Council.
Might I take you then to slide 12 and ask you to pick up there?
Council, can I go back to page 10?
Certainly. Please go ahead.
This presentation is based on the area of Bosses Cove,
Richard Wood.
Richard Wood. So this is where Richard Wood starts in the
Please.
presentation. Richard Wood, born 1815 in Bermuda and died January 11th, 1904 at the age of 81. He was a fisherman. He married twice. His first wife was Nancy, and the second wife was Anna Amelia Wood, née George. Richard Wood married Nancy, his first wife. Richard Wood owned property at Places Point, where he lived with his first wife, Nancy. Nancy was an invalid and died in the house as a result of a fire. After fire, the property was known as Burnt House. Richard and Nancy had one child, Roseanne Wood, who died in 1914 at 87. Roseanne had children, but they all had died. This is how, so going back to Places Point, it was known as Burnt House. Richard Wood never sold the property, he never gave it away, he never gifted, he never transferred, because this was his wife's resting place. This was her burial ground. He then left Places Point and went to Bosses Cove. So this is how we own property at Bosses Cove.
Also,
Council?
Cecilia Lynn
yes.
and Councillor, I just also want to put in there that it was also known as Blocks Point.
Blocks Point.
As well.
That's
And
correct.
which one of them? Which one of the places?
Is this-
Places or
Places
buses?
Point, Blocks Point, Burnt House.
Okay, one and the same place.
One
Yeah.
of the same place.
Thank you.
I'm not sure what it is now, but
Thank you. Sorry. Mr. Hollis, anything you wish to add?
No, that's
Okay.
quite.
Okay, thank you. You may proceed, Ms. Franco.
Okay. On page 11, Richard and Anna Amelia Wood had 3 children: Eleanor, Emmeline Wood, Susan Wood, and Grace Charlotte Philip Wood. Eleanor Emmeline Wood Ball married Daniel Ball. She died in March 1902. They had one son, Ambrose Ball, who left Bermuda for the United States in 1927. Page 12. Child 2, Susanna Wood. Susanna Wood married Arthur James Wood. She was the mother of my great-grandmother, Charlotte Alice Wood Wellman. Page 13. Third child, Grace Charlotte Philip Wood, born July 31, 1854, and died the 24th of May, 1956. She married John Oates. John and Charlotte had no children. Everyone called her Aunt Charlotte. Here is a picture of her on the far right, and her husband, John Oates. John, an Englishman of Dover, Kent, UK, came to Bermuda with the 53rd Shropshire Regiment, UK, from 1870 to 1875. He was born 1856 and died at the age of 87 in 1933. John and Charlotte were married for 59 years. Charlotte Grace Phillips Oates was a nursemaid at the age of 14 for a family at the HM Dockyard. She and her husband, John Oates, ran a laundry business at Bosses Cove, Pembroke. The building is still there today. It's number 15 Bosses Cove. They hired several people to help with the washing of the entire Spanish Point district, including Amity House. Page 15. Charlotte Phillip Woods Oates and John Oates lived here in Bosses Cove, Pembroke, with their laundry building on the property. These buildings are still there today. There's another picture that shows over 1,000 people who attended the June wedding in 1959. The Woods Oates family's homestead willed to Charlotte Wellman née Saunders. And the far bottom right picture is a picture of Charlotte Wellman, my great-grandmother, and her grandson, my father, at the family homestead in 1970. And here is the picture of that boat that I was telling you about in the previous opening picture.
Which it is in the bottom right corner.
Yes, the bottom right corner.
Thank you.
Page 16, here is the obituary and death notices of Charlotte and write-up of Grace Charlotte Phillip Oates on Charlotte. Born July 31, 1854, and died May 24, 1956 at the age of 101. Page 17 is a picture of my great-grandmother, Charlotte Alice Wood Wellman. She was the niece to Grace Charlotte Phillip Oates, and everybody called her Ma Wellman. Her parents were Arthur James and Susan Eleanor Saunders. My great-grandmother, Charlotte Alice Wood Wellman, married George Harvey Trimingham Wellman, born the 23rd of September, 1877, to Joseph Harvey Wellman and Agnes Ophelia Trimingham. He died January 27, 1968, at the age of 91.
So just a moment. What's that? Yes, go ahead, continue.
And of that union, their children were George Alexander Leroy Wellman, also known as Flossie; Beatrice Trott née Wellman, we called her Aunt Sis; Dorothy Elliott, we called her Aunt Dottie; and my grandmother, Margaret Genevieve Anastasia Hollis, also known as Mama Jenny. This picture shows the women of our family, our legacy. Charlotte Wellman, Ma Wellman; her daughters Beatrice Trott, Aunt Sis; Dorothy Elliott, Aunt Dottie; Margaret Genevieve Anastasia Hollis, Mama Jenny. Page 19. My family was very entrepreneurial way back when. My grandmother, Margaret Genevieve Anastasia Hollis, also known as Mama Jenny, also operated a variety shop at Amity House, across from Amity House, with her husband, my grandfather, Sherman Hartman Hollis. When he was not down on Front Street, Hamilton, driving horse and carriage, he was there at the homestead helping out with the family shop. Page 20. Here is a picture of Bosses Cove, another picture of Bosses Cove, and also an article that was saved by my grandmother called The Wood's name was dominant in Bermuda 3 centuries ago. Old documents returned to colony. Page 21 is
Before you go any further, I'm going to show you a document. You have a look at it, please, and tell me what it is. and whether or not you wish to rely on any pages of the document and how many. What is that there?
There's-
That is what's projected on the screen now.
Yes, Council.
It's a hard copy of it.
Yes, Council. So this is where the facts of the presentation starts.
And it probably is a fitting place for us to pause
Yes,
on
Council.
this Friday afternoon.
Yes, Council.
We are at slide 20, Chairman and Commissioners. We have some way to go, and we'll return on the next occasion to the document which is projected on the screen, and I intend to make an application with regards to tendering the hard copies of the document exhibited on the right. It is proposed at this stage, Chairman, because of other matters which we have, that this matter will continue on Wednesday of next week is that convenient? Wednesday of next week at 10 a.m. Wednesday is the 10th of February at 10 a.m.
Yes, Council, the witnesses have heard. We're going to adjourn right now, and they will be requested to return on Wednesday at 10 a.m. to continue your evidence. And at this time, we will adjourn for the weekend. Thank you very much for your evidence, witnesses.
Thank you. You too.